Good evening. I am extremely happy to meet every one of you through this online mode. Since 2008, every year on 11th November, India celebrates National Education Day to commemorate the birth anniversary of Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, the first Union Education Minister of India from 1947 to 1958. Maulana Azad organized a national education system during his tenure as education minister, and he is credited with shaping modern education system of India. His focus was on free primary education to all. Azad was awarded Bharat Ratna in 1992 for his contributions towards the field of education. It was under his tenure that the first IIT, IISc, School of Planning and Agricultural, and the University Grants Commission were established. There were several inspiring quotes from Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. Few of them are: educationalists should build the capacities of the spirit of inquiry, creativity, entrepreneurial, and moral leadership among students and become their role model. No program of national education can be appropriate if it does not give full consideration to the education and the advancement of one of the society, that is the woman. Climbing to the top demands strength, whether it is to the top of Mount Everest or to the top of your career. Be more dedicated to making solid achievements than in running after swift but sympathetic happiness. You have to dream before your dreams come true. To succeed in your mission, you must have single-minded devotion to your goal. And the list goes on. In fact, we at NIT-Trichy felt that the system of education should be in line with the present need and expectations of all stakeholders, and also the students should be readily employable, etc. In this regard, NIT-Trichy organized conclave on academic reforms during the last week of April 2015. All the stakeholders, namely educationalists, industry personnel, government officials, alumni, students, parents, and faculty members and staff members of the institute were involved to identify the roadmap for carrying out the reforms carved out of the conclave. Based on the outcome of this conclave, the flexible curriculum and the faculty empowered teaching learning process were successfully implemented at our institute. The man behind all these activities was Dr. Arul Daniel, then Dean Academic of NIT-Trichy. Today, he kindly consented to deliver on Education Tomorrow, and this talk has been arranged as part of the National Education Day to commemorate the birth anniversary of Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. With these few words, on behalf of NIT-Trichy and on my own behalf, I invite Dr. Arul Daniel, Professor HAG, EEE Department, to deliver his view on the Education Tomorrow. Thank you, sir, for immediately accepting our invitation to deliver this important talk on the National Education Day. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to all of you to participate in this webinar. Thank you. Now over to Dr. Arul Daniel.
I'm so glad to be online this evening, and I must thank Dean Student Welfare, Dr. Kuresan, and Dr. Gerald, Associate Dean, members of the Student Council, especially the President, and one of the members, Rahul, who is coordinating this evening program. My good friend, Dr. Kuresan, briefed you about the Bharat Ratna Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, and all that he started when we got independence. The pathway for progress was definitely laid. The IITs were conceived, IISc was already existing, and then the primary education was also given much attention. Now, coming back to what Dr. Kumaresan was pointing out, we in NIT-Trichy way back in 2015, as Dr. Kumaresan said, he was the convener of the conclave, and he had done a lot of hard work in making that conclave success, whether it is compiling data, whether it is insights into some of the issues. His contribution was enormous. So I must tell all of you who have joined online that we were front runners. I even have the letter sent by Saraswat at that time. He was the Niti Aayog member for education, and while working on a paper, in fact, Dr. Kumaresan was there when the meeting was convened by Saraswat, and way back in 2016, Saraswat said that all NITs would follow the curriculum and the model developed by NIT-Trichy. So you should be happy about that. And some of the ideas that we conceived had come out in the national education policy. So what we did was in line with the national education policy 2020. Now, given that background, and I'm supposed to talk about education tomorrow, and I hope that I will be provocative, because that's one of my jobs, and I'm sure Rahul would also allow a few questions at the end of my talk. I have some issue with sharing my slides because I am using Keynote, and I'd not be able to see myself on the screen, so I'd be just looking at the slides. Please hurt me if you're not able to see what I'm projecting, or if my voice is not audible. Now, to educate, we'll just lay the foundation. I just have 10 slides, and it's for half an hour, not more than that. I'm sure you had already cautioned me that most of the students are already occupied with cycle tests, projects, and so on. Since it is the end of the term, most of you would be busy with so many other activities. So I lay foundation first, then throw some inputs on tomorrow. Educate means to rear or nurture, to breed, to lead forth, to train. So nurturing is an important component of education. So any educational ecosystem should nurture ideas, should be nurturing people so that they use their full potential and come out as great citizens of the country. Heraclitus, way back in 6th century BC, told his students to find the reason why of everything. And he called it logos. So logos means to find out why certain thing is happening the way it is happening. Say, for example, if it rains, find the logos of why it rains. And you will find this logos in most of our pursuits. So you are earning a degree, Bachelor of Technology. And logic comes from logos. Logic comes from logos. So if you want to find the reason why of some of the advancements, and then figure out how you're going to set the trajectory for the development tomorrow, you are into technology. And similarly, if you're able to predict whether it's going to rain or not, find out the reason why for raining tomorrow, then you are into meteorology, meteorologos. And if you study women, gynecology, gynelogos, andrologos, anthropology. So you have number of logos, and he's deemed to be the father of science, scientific inquiry. You'll find all these words in NEP 22. You should read that document. You'll find that the purpose of education is to develop individuals into their full potential, and the spirit of inquiry has to be instilled. Now, any educational ecosystem should focus on disseminating knowledge, and the recipient acquires knowledge, and training the individuals in various skills, and you learn skills, and then you form habits. You become better time managers. You learn how to organize events, what Rahul is doing today. And then you form how to go about living your life with the education that you have. Maybe you learn how to get up early in the morning, plan your day, and so on and so forth, how to manage various activities. So you form habits. So an educational ecosystem should be involved in these three. You disseminate knowledge, and the teachers disseminate knowledge, and you are knowledge. The faculty members train you into new skills, and you learn those new skills. And then you have an ecosystem and you form habits. I still remember what the TCS chairperson, Chandra, they call him, say, not TCS, he was TCS ex-CEO and the present chairman of Tata Sons. He's the chairman of the entire Tata group of companies. And he said, REC made me street ready. That's what he said. He was given distinguished alumnus award, and while receiving the award, he said, "In REC made me street ready." So you form habits that helps you to face challenges when you move out of the campus, and you know that you are already into it. Okay. Now we must understand that in this educational process, the end doesn't satisfy us, but journey does. And the journey is important. Think for a while in the first year orientation, all of you are given degrees. You get tech, computer science and engineering, honors with distinction. Each one of you is given the degree, and then 4 years you just while away and go because you already got the degree. So that doesn't give you happiness, and the journey that gives you fulfillment. So in an educational ecosystem, it's the journey that matters. And these days, focus on lifetime learning, or you keep learning till you leave this earth. Lifelong learning. So you keep learning. Learning never ends, and the journey of acquiring knowledge, the journey of learning skills, forming good habits continues forever. Now, the new education policy, if you read the introduction, you'll find that it aims to nurture individuals or the students into their full potential. It talks about establishing equitable and just society and the consequence of each citizen living out his or her life to their full potential would definitely result in national development. You check out data, you'll find that depression causes billions of dollars losses. So if you're not mentally sound, you are stressed, then you're not into full potential, and that results in huge revenue loss to the tune of billions of dollars. So education, if it doesn't bring out full potential, nurture you to be into your full potential, then education has failed. And now again, the trajectories of pedagogy is listed there. And pedagogy is nothing but the art and science of teaching or the process of educating. Now, the trajectories that need to be followed in an academic ecosystem for learning, or what we termed as education, nurturing, learning new skills, acquiring knowledge, forming habits. So in order to create such an atmosphere, the process involved in training an individual to acquire knowledge, learn new skills, forming habits need to be quite different. So we can't use the old chalk and talk delivery method or just online lectures. Doesn't. So the process of educating individuals, people, students need to involve creating experiences. You must understand that learning takes place when all the senses are stimulated. Your eyes need to be stimulated, your ears need to be stimulated, your skin need to be stimulated. You need to feel conducting experiments about what is happening. So education needs to be in an arena where experiences are given, learning experiences are given. And then again, pedagogy needs to be holistic. It has to deal with the intellect, it has to deal with your body, because a sound mind is necessary, sound body is necessary for sound mind. And some of the scholars of learning, they have found that a stressed mind cannot learn, and aerobic exercises like walking, jogging, helps to keep your brain fit. So the environment has to be holistic, so that your intellect, so that your body, uh, they're all involved in the process of education. And then it has to be integrated. It's not just discrete activities which are not integrated into the main goal. And then the spirit of inquiry has to be stimulated, like what Heraclitus tried to do to his students, find logos of what's happening. So it has to be inquiry driven, discovery oriented. In other words, it has to be inductive. So the whole learning process, pedagogy, need to be inductive, in which you try to draw out inferences instead of being pushed into thinking based on what has been told. So that is deductive method. And then it's learner-centered. See, the learner is the important component. He's the customer of the entire system. The faculty may be facilitated. No doubt, the faculty and the support staff are important component of the academic ecosystem. But then all their activities have to be focused on the learner. So how do I make the environment learner friendly should be my focus. And then more discussion based, group tasks, because learning is facilitated when you work it out by interacting with your peers, and then it is flexible. Dr. Kumaran was pointing out about the flexibility that we attempted to introduce, and then 2 batches had already got their degrees under this flexible mode, and it is pointed out in NEP 2020. And ultimately, learning has to be enjoyable. We need to enjoy learning. So if you don't enjoy learning, what's the point in spending your time on a pursuit which is burdensome and you're not happy about? Now, I just want to spend some time on tomorrow. Where are we going? I believe the focus is on anytime, anywhere. So you'll find that my slides are a little old-fashioned. You find the paper to be as if it's immersed in some acid long time ago, and the fonts are quite old. And I've done it deliberately because the process of education and the goals of education has not changed. But then the pedagogy has changed. The way we learn, the art and science of making someone learn something has changed. So under the foundation, what we lay has to be modern, has to be the state of art. So we have to use all the technology available, all the psychological studies that have undergone in making someone learn something, and then the techniques of creating an atmosphere in which students learn. So in that context, see, these some universities, they offer accredited degrees in any time, anywhere mode. And some of the components of this anytime, anywhere mode, you would have already registered for a course in Coursera or Intel or Udemy and so on. You find how engaging it is. So anytime, anywhere education or education on the go, it doesn't mean that we are compromising on the rigor. In fact, Dr. Murray and I had to face quite a number of times this particular question, which was raised by our colleagues. You say it's flexible. Can we have the test anytime that we want? And we have to repeatedly say, and it was Dr. Kumaresan who gave the answer, and he said, all flexibility ends when the course plan is uploaded. So once the course plan is uploaded, no more flexibility. So then it has to simply navigate as been described in the course plan. You can have all the ingredients that you need for making learning enjoyable. And we kept on telling that, see, we have empowered faculty members to design, chart out their own pathways by which learning is made interesting. But then you must understand that change doesn't come overnight. You know, we have been through an university system in which the guru stands on a podium and lectures and goes. And then you have a question paper. We don't know from where it landed, and it lands up. And you write something, and the paper goes to some unknown person and he evaluates. That's the university system. So when you say flexibility, you have your own decision making and your own designing ability to create a strategy by which the course is made interesting, enjoyable, and learning really takes place. Because learning is measurable. At the end of the course, the faculty can figure out what has been learned. So, in any time, anywhere, rigor is not left out. It's not an easy way of learning a degree. That's not the case. So, it's going to be a blended engagement where you need to have synchronous and asynchronous mode of engagement. So, in synchronous mode, the teacher lectures and it is seen by the students anywhere, anytime, so not anytime, anywhere. And it's a live session. And in asynchronous mode, you have the content and then the content is seen within the specified time or the time period, within the specified time period. She watches that video anytime. So it's a blending of contact classes as well as flip classes. And at times you may need to look for experts or facilities spread around so that given geographical proximity, a student can get into that facility and make use of that, which is very much required for engineering skills, lots of discussions. And then you need to work out strategies for skill impartation. It's technology driven. One of the learning management system is Canvas, and that's a wonderful tool. So the content is already given in Canvas, the schedules are already given. So you go through that and you have metrics to figure out how much of learning had taken place. Now, in any time, anywhere, it has to be necessarily networked. You can send a bouquet to any part of the world. You have a network. Someone in US can send you a bouquet, and the agency which does it, a huge network, florists all around the world. So every florist has been networked, and those florists sends the bouquet to the address specified by the central agency. Uber does it, Ola does it. So education needs to be a networked ecosystem in which you have anytime, anywhere program, and a network of facilities are created so that wherever you are, you can just go and make use of the facility. Say, for example, during this pandemic, we had an issue on labs, and if it is networked, you can go to a college nearby where the facility is, and you can stagger time, and without harming social distancing norms, carry out real-time experiment. That's as far as engineering curriculum is concerned. So that's the next part of the education, and this is my last slide. You must understand that whether it is learning or whether it is acquiring skills, acquiring knowledge, or learning new skills, or forming habits, it's a long-term process. And it's a very slow, meandering, messing up process. There's no shortcut to learning or acquiring knowledge or forming habits. A lot of messing up takes place because when you nurture, messing up definitely takes place. We have to face it. I know dean students faces a lot of messing up. That happens. And he has to patiently deal with it, deal with each individual case, and try to form habits. So slowly and messing up also. Whereas the external environment will cry, make them instant ready for my industry. The curriculum is not industry ready. I want students who would improve my profit straight away. But that is not the goal of an educational enterprise. Just understand that the process is slow, takes time, assimilation takes time. I still remember when I was learning typewriting way back in my 8th standard, nearly more than 40 years back. And it's a noisy environment. You would have never seen a typewriting institute. Dr. Kumresan would have seen, Dr. Gerald would have seen, but none of you would have seen. A very noisy environment because each one would be typing the manual typewriter. And it all starts with A, S, D, G, F, G, space, semicolon, L, J, H. Starts with that. It's called home keys. And you keep typing that for 1 week till you are able to, without seeing the keyboard, A, S, D, F, G, F, space, semicolon, L, K, J, H, J. And then the other line of keys, A, W, E, R, and it goes on. Keep doing it. And then they allow you to type A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, then Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, upside down. Then you're through with typing. You acquire the skill of typing. And you could be a fast typist. So it's a slow meandering process. And once you're through with it, you keep moving and you pursue lifelong learning. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining, and thank organizers for calling me to share my thoughts. Dr. Gerald, I think you're not audible.
Good evening, all. I'd like to thank our beloved professor, Dr. Arul Daniel, our former Dean Academic, for his kind consent to deliver this special talk on this special day, that is National Education Day 2020. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank all faculty members, staff members, and the students who attending this webinar. I'd like to thank our Dean Student Welfare, Dr. N. Kumaresan, and the Director of NIT-Trichy, Dr. Minishaji Thomas, for given permission to conduct this event. Last but not the least, I would like to thank Mr. Dali Krishnan, SAS officer NIT-Trichy, and the organizing team, Mr. Rahul, Mr. Kamalesh, along with the other members and student council for conducting this event a successful one. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.